Welcome to the Smart Automotive Variant Con 2016 in Berlin. I'm Christina from we.CONECT and I'm really happy to be with Dr. Christoph Peters from the University of St. Gallen. Christoph, welcome to the conference and thank you so much for your time to participate in the interview. As a start, do you mind briefly introducing yourself and tell us a bit more about your professional background?
So thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I'm Christoph Peters. I'm a project manager at the University of St. Gallen, leading a research team, especially dealing with service modularization. And so I think this is the perfect place to be here. And yeah.
Sounds like it, definitely. And what has brought you to the conference? Is there a specific motivation or a specific problem you encounter and you think, I definitely have to attend this one?
Absolutely. I think there's two main trends which we're having right now. I think one big trend is digital transformation, which is very broad. And there's another trend, I think, with the Internet of Things. And from my perspective, here's a lot of competence at the conference with people who have a tremendous experience in product modularization and seeing it from the engineer's perspective. And I think that is very worthwhile, especially in Germany. But I also think that it's very important to see the service aspects of it, because when dealing with services, you put the customer in focus. And I think this is not only important, I think it is necessary to do so and to put the engineering background and excellence which we have here on top of that. Mm-hmm. And so my background is more about the services, and I'm more than happy to discuss this here. And
Yeah, which you'll do later on, because you also present a case study this afternoon on modularization for successful product service systems engineering. Tell us a bit more about that.
There's two main bits of a case study. So there's more or less two case studies I'm going a deep dive into. One is dealing with service modularization and a method we developed therefore. This is the main project of my dissertation, which I did in the last years, and we could prove that this makes sense and this is a valuable tool in terms of service modularization. So this is part one, and it has 5 phases, and I will skip through them very quickly. And I'm happy to see what the reactions and what especially the product modularization experts are saying to the service modularization part. And the other part is, given the digital transformation and Internet of Things, which I already mentioned, I think there is one very important part, and this is, what do you do if you have this kind of customer orientation in place, if you have this service orientation in place. And one aspect of it is to look how can you do education in other forms as well. And so starting from a service modularized view, we have made one case study, or that the case study presents how we do something which we call crowd support. So if you think, for example, you have a big software implementation project, very often they fail, or the intended use the software was bought for is not reached. And what we think is very valuable, especially in times where there's a lot of people who in their private lives are happy to share their knowledge, for example on YouTube, present tutorials on configurations for networks, whatever. Mm-hmm. I think it is very good and important that you bring this into the company sphere as well. And to reach these potentials, actually the employees, they have these competencies already, but at the moment many of them do not bring them into the company. And so this is a way where we try to bring the different, that's why we call it crowd support, the different employees together. Having one big advantage, it's not only, of course it's still, but it's not only the IT experts giving you advice, for example, on software implementation, but maybe someone who's in the marketing department. And this is something which might be much better in terms of understanding, in terms of who is also, who can benefit from this, because the language people use is very different, I would reckon, depending on where they come from and what their background is.
Yeah, and you also mentioned the digital transformation earlier on. What do you think are the main challenges of modularization with regards to the digital age, digital transformation?
I mean, the main challenge Actually, I think it stayed the same in terms of buzzwords, and the buzzwords probably is interfaces. But I think this comes really to a new era, because so far the interfaces were heavily described by interfaces which could be determined by certain protocols or standards. I think I've heard a lot of them today already in the presentations. But if it comes to real digital transformations, the human being and the employee, the participant, the user of different settings and new business models is key and is in the center of this. And it is very hard to define interfaces of human beings. So I think one of the challenges is interfaces. So you've got the interfaces maybe determined and defined already for products. Then there's Internet of Things, which can be also has very clear interfaces following certain protocols. But then you have to put this into, I call this service offerings and new business models where human beings are the beneficiaries of these services. And you need the interfaces specified from the products, Internet of Things, Internet of Services to the human being as well. And I think this is one of the key challenges ahead.
Okay. And apart from the case study that you'll be presenting later on, you'll also moderate a Challenge Your Peers session. What particular challenge have you brought, and what insights are you hoping to get from the delegates?
Yeah, I think I'm very much looking forward to this roundtable. One of the key challenges I experience and I bring to this roundtable is there's these two worlds. You've got traditional service offerings and then you've got digital service offerings, and I think a lot of people struggle also like in their company life but also in their private life, how to deal with that and how to think differently in terms of digital transformations. And there is this in a platform economy, you've got this focus on, is it either you provide a platform or a feature or app, and I think this is something which in many companies is not thought of at all at the moment, but I think at least it is worthwhile. And so I'm very interested in the opinions of the attendees of the roundtable, and also how they deal with these challenges, and if they have found already ways in their companies to deal with it, if yes, which, and if not, how big the challenge feels already, like how big do they feel this challenge already, and if they think this is ahead of them in their specific company as well. And I think looking forward to very interesting and hopefully fruitful discussions.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really challenging, really good one ahead of you. And well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. Good luck for your case study, and hope you get all the insights you're looking for.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.